So after discussing the difference between ideal gas and real gas equation, real gases, today I am going to start a new topic, and that is the real gas equation or van der Waals gas equation. Real gas equation or van der Waals gas equation. Van der Waals gas equation. As previously we have discussed, this equation might be P plus An square over V square into V minus Nb, that is equal to nRT, where P is the pressure, A and B are the van der Waals gas constant, V is the volume, N is the number of moles, V is the volume, and R is universal gas constant, and T is the temperature in Kelvin. But from where this equation has been obtained? This equation was being obtained by making correction in the kinetic theory of gases, and those corrections were made by van der Waals. And the first correction was made for correction of forces of attraction. Correction for forces of attraction. Correction for forces of attraction. As we know, there are some attractive forces between the gas molecule. That's why they are being liquefied. But according to kinetic theory of gases, the forces of attraction are supposed to be negligible. But actually there are some forces of attraction, and the value of those forces of attraction was P plus An square over V square. So the corrected pressure will be P plus An square over V square. P plus An square over V square, where A will show the forces of attraction. I will discuss about its significance and unit. And the second correction was that the volume of each molecule in comparison to total volume is also significant. But according to kinetic theory of the gases, the volume of each molecule is supposed as negligible, but actually we suppose the molecule is spherical, so that's why they should have some significant value. So we have to find out the excluded value, and the excluded value of molecule that is denoted by V, and its actual value should be equal to volume of 4 molecules. So formula will be 4 by 3 into 4n, where n is the number of molecules, or Avogadro number we can say, r is the radius. So here the corrected volume will be V minus Nb, where B is the volume or excluded volume. So putting these values in ideal gas equation, we will get P plus An square over V square into V minus Nb, that is equal to nRT, where P is the pressure, V is the volume, A and B are van der Waals gas constant, and N is the number of moles, R is universal gas constant, and T is the temperature. Now, first of all, we have to discuss the significance and unit of A and B. These are very important topics. Significance and unit of A and B. Significance and unit of A and B. First, I am going to discuss about the significance of A. Here, A shows the attractive forces between the gas molecule. A shows the attractive forces between the gas molecule. Hence, higher will be the value of A, easily will be the liquefaction of gas. A will show the attractive forces between the gas molecule. Hence, higher will be value of A, easily will be the liquefaction of gas, and its unit can be find out by comparing P with AN square or V square. So, its unit should be pressure atmosphere, volume liter square per mole square. Unit of A should be atmosphere liter square per mole square. Now we have to discuss about significance of B. Significance of B. So B shows volume of each molecule in comparison to total volume of the gas, or it shows the excluded volume which is not considered, and its unit can be found out by comparing V with NV. From here the unit comes out to be liter per mole. Unit comes out to be liter per mole. These are very important two questions, maybe in your UT exam or competitive exam. What are the significance of A and B? So keep it in mind. Higher will be the value of A, easily will be the liquefaction of gas, and higher will be the value of B, lesser will be the compressibility of the gas. Lesser will be the compressibility of gas. Now we have to see behavior of real gas equation at different condition of temperature and pressure. Behavior of real gas equation at different condition of temperature and pressure. As we know, real gas equation is P plus An square or V square into V minus Nb, that is equal to nRT. First case is that when pressure is very low. When pressure is very low, so V should be very high. V should be very high. V should be very high. Hence, An square or V square and Nb become negligible. An square and Nb becomes negligible. So this equation gets reduced to PV is equal to nRT, and which is the ideal gas equation. Next case may be when pressure is moderate. When pressure is moderate, then we can neglect An square. We can neglect An square or V square. Hence, the equation comes out to be P into V minus Nb, that is equal to nRT. We can neglect An square and from this we will get equation PV minus PNB, that is equal to nRT. Now dividing both sides by nRT, we will get PV upon nRT minus PB upon nRT, that is equal to 1, and PV upon nRT is Z, compressibility factor, and that should be equal to 1 plus PB over RT. This will be the required equation. When pressure is moderate, then value of Z should be equal to 1 plus PB over RT. This question has been asked in your competitive exam. Next case may be when pressure is high. When pressure is high, so V will be less V will be less, hence NB can be neglected. NB can be neglected. NB neglected. Hence, the equation reduces to P into V minus NB, that is equal to nRT. So from this PV, in this case NB is neglected, NB can be neglected, hence the equation will be P plus AN square over V square into V is equal to nRT, and from this we will get PV plus AN square over V, that is equal to nRT, and dividing both sides by nRT we will get PV upon nRT plus AN upon RPV is equal to 1, and from this Z is equal to 1 minus AN over RPV. This question has been also asked in your objective exams. Next case may be when temperature is high. When temperature is high. When temperature is high. So this equation reduces to PV is equal to nRT. Hence it is the ideal gas equation. From this whole discussion, we come to know the real gases can be ideal only at two cases. One, when pressure is very low, and second, when temperature is very high. The real gases can behave like ideal gases at very low pressure and high temperature. Now we have to discuss one more important topic of this chapter, and that topic is Maxwell distribution, Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution law of velocities. Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution law of velocities. Maxwell distribution law of velocities. It is a very important topic, and it shows the number of gas molecules having velocity between C and C plus dc. It shows number of molecules of gas having velocity between C and C plus dc, and mathematically this law can be dnc is equal to 4 pi n into m over 2 pi kt raised to power 3 by 2 exponential raised to power minus mc square over 2 kt into c square dc. This is our Maxwell-Boltzmann distribution law, and this law shows number of gas molecule having velocity between C and C plus dc. Mathematically this law may be dnc is equal to 4 pi n into m upon 2 pi kt raised to power 3 by 2 exponential raised to power minus minus mc square over 2 kt c square dc. Here I am telling about each and every significant terms here. First, dnc, these are the number of particles having velocity between c and c plus dc. Keep it in mind, here c doesn't denote the velocity of light. Capital N is the total number of particles in the box or the container. M is the mass of the particle or each molecule. Pi is the mathematical constant, and K is the Boltzmann constant. T is temperature in Kelvin. C is velocity of gas molecule. Now here relationship between Boltzmann constant and van der Waals gas universal gas constant is this. Boltzmann constant is equal to universal gas constant upon Avogadro number. Universal gas constant upon Avogadro number. Now I have to draw the graph. This equation can be plotted like this way. On ordinate, I have to take the fraction of molecule having velocity between c and c plus dc, 1 by n dnc over dc. On abscissa we have to take c square, then we will get a graph first increases, then become constant, and finally decreases. Means we can say we are getting a hyperbola, and the in this graph three types of velocity may be possible. When number of particles are maximum, that value is known as most probable velocity or alpha. We will going to discuss the gas molecule have three types of velocities. Next may be the average velocity. Average velocity denoted by V. And next can be root mean square velocity, VRMS, denoted by E. From this, we are getting impression when temperature is zero, the number of gas molecules are very less. Hence, significance of this law is that we can prove that the absolute zero temperature can never be attained. Absolute zero temperature can never be attained. And from this graph, we come to know the gas molecules have three types of velocities. The gas molecule have three types of velocities, and those velocities are, first one is most probable velocity, VMP or alpha. There might be numericals or formula about this in your exams. First one is the most probable velocity denoted by alpha, and it may be defined as the velocity with which maximum number of gas molecule tends to move. I am repeating, the velocity with which maximum particles of gas tends to move, that is known as most probable velocity, and its value should be equal to, alpha should be equal to root of 2 RT upon m, root 2 RT by m, or 2 KT by small m, where R is universal gas constant, T is the temperature in Kelvin, m is the molecular mass of the gas, K is Boltzmann constant, and small m is the molecular mass of each gas, mass of each molecule of the gas. Next is average velocity denoted by V, and it may be defined as the average or mean of the velocities possessed by different molecules of a gas. The mean of velocities possessed by different molecules of a gas, that is known as average velocity. Mathematically, it should be n1 v1 plus n2 v2 plus, up to in this way, ni vi upon n1 plus n2 up to in this way ni, and it should be equal to root of 8 RT by pi m, or root of 8 KT by pi small m, where n1, n2, ni are the number of molecules of the gas, v1, v2, vi are their velocities, R is universal gas constant, T is temperature in Kelvin, pi is the mathematical constant, m is the molecular mass of the gas, K is Boltzmann constant, and small m is the mass of each molecule. Next type of velocity which is commonly used, and that is the root mean square velocity. Root mean square velocity, or denoted by U. Root mean square velocity, or U. As from the name we are getting impression, it is the square root of mean of square of the velocities possessed by different molecules. I am repeating, it is the square root of mean of square of velocities possessed by different molecules. Mathematically, it might be written like this: n1 v1 square plus n2 v2 square up till this way ni vi square upon n1 plus n2 whole root. That's why it is known as root mean square velocity, and mathematically its value should be equal to root 3 RT by m or root 3 kT by small m, where N1, N2, Ni are the number of gas molecules and R is universal gas constant, T is the temperature, M is the molecular mass, K is Boltzmann constant. Next question is very important one, and that should be the ratio of different kind of velocities of gas molecule. Ratio of different kind of velocity of gas molecule. Ratio of different kind of velocity of gas molecule. As I have mentioned, the gas molecule can have three types of velocity, and those are most probable velocity denoted by alpha, average velocity denoted by v, and root mean square velocity denoted by u. Now we can put their values here. First is 2 RT by m each to 8 RT by pi m each to 3 RT by n. Now we can divide each term by RT by n. We will get root 2 each to 2 root 2 over root pi each to root 3. Now we can divide all by root 2, then we will get 1 each to root 2 over 2 over root pi means root 3.14 each to root of 1.5, and these values comes out to be 1 each to 1.128 each to 1.224. This is the ratio of all three kinds of velocities. Root mean square velocity, most probable velocity, average velocity, and root mean square velocity. They are related with, if root mean most probable velocity is 1, then average velocity should be 1.128 and root mean square velocity should be equal to 1.224. It is a very important topic for your numericals. Now I am going to discuss about few numericals. And the first numerical is, if a gas has most probable velocity 0.2 meter per second at 27 degrees centigrade, then at which temperature it becomes double. At which temperature it becomes double. And your options are, the first one 327 degrees centigrade, second one is 927 degrees centigrade, third one is 54 degrees centigrade, and fourth one is 427 degrees centigrade. So now we can put the values here. As alpha 1 is 0.2, alpha 2 should be equal to 0.4, and they should be equal to root of 2 R T1, that is 300 in Kelvin we have to take, over M upon root of 2 R into T we need to find upon M. Now we can cancel it out. M is cancelled with M, 2R is cancelled with 2. It comes out to be 1 by 2 is equal to root of 300 over T. Now squaring both sides, we will get 1 by 4 is equal to 300 over T. So T comes out to be 1200 Kelvin, and but in centigrade that comes out to be 927 degrees centigrade. So our answer should be B option. I hope you understand. Next question is, if a gas has most probable velocity 0.2 meter per second at temperature T, then what will be its root mean square velocity? What will be its root mean square velocity? As from the above discussion, we know the ratio of most probable velocity with root mean square velocity should be equal to 1 upon 1.224. So here root mean square velocity is given, most probable velocity is given, and we need to find root mean square velocity. We can multiply it 0.2 into 1.224. Then our answer comes out to be 8442. So it should be equal to 0.2448 meter per second. I hope you can now do the numericals on this. There might be question on this. Next topic we are going to discuss, that is a very important topic, and that is the liquefaction of the gases. Liquefaction of the gases and critical constant. Liquefaction of the gases. Liquefaction of gases and critical constants. It is also a very important topic for your objectives. Liquefaction of gases and critical constants. As we know, there are attractive forces between the gas molecule. Hence, when the gases are subjected to condition of high pressure and low temperature, the particle will come together and they get converted into liquids. I am repeating, when the gases are subjected to high pressure and low temperature, the gas molecule will come together and they get converted into liquids, and this phenomena is known as liquefaction of gases. Tomorrow we will discuss about the methods of liquefaction of the gases. So the liquefaction of gas means when the gases are subjected to high pressure and low temperature, they get converted into liquid, and this phenomena is known as liquefaction of gases. And mainly three constants are related with them, and the first one is critical temperature. It is denoted by Tc. The first constant is critical temperature, and critical temperature means the maximum temperature above which a gas can never be liquefied. The maximum temperature above which a gas can never be liquefied is known as critical temperature, and mathematically its value should be equal to 8A over 27 Rb. The critical temperature should be equal to 8A upon 27 Rb, where A and B are the van der Waals gas constant, R is the universal gas constant. A and B are van der Waals gas constant and R is universal gas constant, and from this we are getting impression higher A, higher Tc. So higher will be the critical temperature, easily will be the liquefaction of gas. Next is critical pressure. Critical pressure. Here critical pressure is the minimum pressure. Critical pressure is the minimum pressure which must be applied on the gas molecule at critical temperature to liquefy the gases. The minimum pressure which must be applied on the gas molecule at critical temperature to liquefy them, that is known as critical pressure. It is denoted by Pc, and mathematically its value will be A over 27 B square. A over 27 B square. Here A and B are van der Waals gas constant. Pc is the critical pressure. Now we have to discuss about the critical volume. Critical volume. Critical volume is the volume of a gas at critical condition of temperature and pressure. Critical volume means volume of a gas at critical condition of temperature and pressure, that is known as critical volume, and mathematically it should be 3B, where B is the van der Waals gas constant. Now we can relate all these three. These three can be related by this formula: PC into VC over TC, that is equal to 3 by 8 R. PC into VC over TC is equal to 3 by 8 R. This relation has been asked in your board, your competitive exams, where PC is critical pressure, VC is critical volume, TC is critical temperature, R is universal gas constant. Now we have to discuss a very important effect which has been asked in your exams generally, and that is the Joule-Thomson effect. Joule-Thomson effect, very important one. Joule-Thomson effect. Joule-Thomson effect. It is essential for liquefaction of the gases. Joule-Thomson effect. So this effect states that when a real gas is subjected to move from a region of high pressure to low pressure under constant condition of heat, then it is always accompanied with cooling. I am repeating, when a gas is subjected to move from a region of higher pressure to lower pressure under adiabatical conditions, then it is always accompanied with cooling, except hydrogen and helium. I am repeating, when a real gas is moved from a region of higher pressure to lower pressure, or we can say that a real gas is expanded from a region of higher pressure to lower pressure under adiabatical condition. Adiabatical condition means at constant heat, then it is always accompanied with cooling, and mathematically we can write it like this: delta T over delta P at constant heat, then it is denoted by mu, and where mu is known as Joule-Thomson coefficient. And for if value of mu is zero, then neither heating nor cooling will take place. And if mu is greater than 0 or positive, then cooling will take place. And if mu is less than 0 or negative, then heating will take place. And that will be for hydrogen and helium, because their critical pressure is lesser than room temperature. For hydrogen and helium, there will be heating. I am repeating, it is a very important topic. According to Joule-Thomson effect, when the gases are expanded adiabatically from region of higher pressure to lower pressure, they are always accompanied with cooling, except hydrogen and helium. And from this we can find out the formula delta T or delta P at constant H, that should be mu. If value of that is 0, then neither heating nor cooling. If greater than 0, then positive values, so cooling will take place. And if less than mu, then heating will take place, and that will be for hydrogen and helium. But if an ideal gas is taken, then neither heating nor cooling will be there. Because for them the attractive forces are supposed as negligible. With this, I come to end of this today's topic. It is whatsoever I have discussed today, it is very important for your competitive exams as well as your further studies. So please study it carefully, do the numericals, raise your doubts, and tomorrow we will finish with the gaseous state, by discussing the methods of liquefaction of the gases, and then some more equations regarding the gaseous state, the heating capacity of the gases, and then we will discuss the liquid state if possible, unless in next lecture I will finish this chapter. Means within 2 chapters I will finish. This is very important topic, so please prepare well, and if any doubt is there you can contact me through my WhatsApp number 97280 35202. Till then, thank you, stay connected, stay healthy.